If you're a landlord, there's a silent threat to your real estate portfolio that most people don't catch until it's too late. It's not a lawsuit, it's not a market crash, it's probate. And if your properties aren't set up right, your heirs could be in for a bureaucratic nightmare. In this video, we'll break down the main benefits of using a revocable trust as a landlord. Then we'll talk about the drawbacks you absolutely need to understand before you start transferring titles. And finally, we'll walk through a few alternatives that might be better fits depending on your situation. Now, real quick, this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on YouTube. The goal here is to give you a clearer understanding so you can have a more productive conversation with your estate planning professional. All right, so starting with why you might want a revocable trust. One of the biggest reasons landlords choose these is to avoid probate. When someone passes away and they own property in their name, that property has to go through probate court. This can take months to go through and can be more expensive than if you had the properties in a trust. And if you own real estate in more than one state, those properties would go through something called ancillary probate, which means multiple probate processes in multiple states. That can take months, rack up thousands in legal fees, and delay access to the property. A properly funded revocable trust avoids all of that. Next is taxes. One of the potential benefits of a revocable trust is that if it's structured right, it doesn't have to file a separate 1041 trust return. All the income and deductions can just flow through to your personal return, which makes tax time a whole lot simpler. You're basically keeping your CPA a little happier and your tax prep bill a little smaller. Another underrated benefit is the continuity of management. If you die, your successor trustee can step in and take over. That means rent still gets collected, bills get paid, and your tenants might not even notice anything happened. Also, let's not forget privacy. Wills become public record. Trusts in most cases don't. That means what you own and who you're leaving it to stays out of the public eye. But it's not all smooth sailing with revocable trusts. There are drawbacks you should know about as well. First up is attorney fees. You're going to need an attorney to draft the trust documents, and it's not going to be for free. This isn't a DIY LegalZoom situation. Trusts are like parachutes, really. You don't want to find out it's a bad one after you've jumped. Second, the trust has to be funded and maintained. That means retitling deeds or transferring LLC ownership into the name of the trust. And every time you buy or sell a property, you need to update the trust. If you forget to move a property over, it's going through probate, defeating the whole purpose. Also, revocable living trusts don't usually protect against creditors. If you're looking for a trust that will keep your assets safe from lawsuits or debt collectors, that's typically going to require an irrevocable trust or using an LLC structure. What some landlords do is have the LLC hold the property and then the trust owns the LLC. But that's a conversation you'll want to have with your attorney. Now let's talk about some alternatives to a revocable living trust. First is the transfer on death deed or TOD deed. These are simpler, cheaper, and automatically transfer property to a beneficiary at death without going through probate. But here's the catch. They only work in some states, so you'll want to check if your state allows them. Second option is a will. It's better than nothing, but it still has to go through probate. That means delays in your beneficiaries taking control of the property. So while it covers the basics, it doesn't solve the time and cost issues of probate. The third option is not doing anything. This is the worst case scenario. If you die without a will or a trust, the state decides who gets your property. And spoiler alert, the state probably doesn't know or care about your plans for your real estate portfolio. And finally, there's the irrevocable trust. These aren't used as commonly for everyday estate planning because once you set one up, you lose control over the assets you place inside of it. But they can be useful if you're bumping up against the federal estate tax exemption and need to start moving assets out of your estate. So to wrap this up, revocable trusts can help you avoid probate, provide continuity if something happens to you, and keep your business private. But they come with attorney fees, require ongoing maintenance, and don't usually protect against creditors. Alternatives like TOD deeds, wills, and irrevocable trusts might work in some situations, but they come with their own trade-offs. If this video helped you understand how trust could fit into your estate plan, subscribe to the channel for more landlord-specific financial planning content. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.